Guess what? Self-mastery is different than self-control. Uh-oh. Where are we gonna go today? Where are we today? Central Utah. Beautiful, beautiful canyon. Got the fall leaves coming through. And it has me thinking about this journey of life. And the difference between having mastery of thyself and having to control yourself in situations so that you don't fuck up, so that you don't lose yourself, so that you don't push away somebody. And it's all fear-based, right? To be able to have more self-control, it's like you're having to lock down a part of who you are. And the cool thing is that lasts for a little while. We all know that. Like, if you're in that sober mindset, if you're in that state of being, like, it lasts. It will work. Self-control, like really controlling yourself, controlling the parts of you that maybe aren't so socially acceptable, the parts that you're maybe have caused you a lot of pain. I know in my past, right? Have like the anger, the beast coming out when he was triggered. And, as I've gone through this healing journey, I now know what all of that is about. And if you want to hear more, stay tuned. But what it is about is it's a protection. Protection of what? The inner child, right? The adult saying, I'm going to protect the inner child. And for me, the parent being non-existent, because the parent is like super dad. The parent is like, I can save the day. I'm here. I see you. I hear you. I love you. We got this. And in this situation, we don't need to overreact. In this situation, we don't need to overreact. And in these other situations, we now can communicate through the problems, through the fear. It's all fear-based, really. That's what it is. It really boils down to when we're afraid, when we're scared. For me, the adult overreacted. The adult has to protect the inner child. And the coolest thing about this healing journey, you guys, is that I believe it's universal. I believe what I've experienced is the same thing that you can experience, and that we're all connected in this way. Like I really do believe this with all my heart, with all my mind, with all my soul, and with all my strength, is that we are all connected. And that these things that I've experienced that have given me healing, that have given me a greater sense of self-mastery, it's really the greatest gift I've ever given myself, is the ability to trust myself in all situations. That I'm not gonna either make things worse or that I'm gonna self-destruct and cause others that I truly do love and care for harm. And so there is a time, right? We can give ourselves permission and know that there is a time for the protector, the defender to come out. Case in point, just now, right? I'm out here in this canyon. We're in Utah, middle Utah. It's still pretty wild. I'm from New Mexico. We're wild out here. We go out into the national open areas and we start shooting. Trigger therapy, probably. So it's early in the morning. I'm drinking my first cup of coffee and I'm in a very secluded spot. So I'll let you know that, like, it's very secluded. This is one of my stashy spots. And I hear a vehicle approach down below. We're way up high in this canyon. And it turns off, it stops. And next thing you know, 5 minutes later, gunshots start going off. And there's a few draws in this canyon, but they weren't aiming at us, but they were probably zeroing in. It's close to hunting season out here in the West. And in that moment, right, one shot goes off. I'm like, whoa, shit. Okay, I know what these boys are up to. they don't know we're here, or they won't be doing that. That's how it works out here, right? There is respect. And then 2 more go off. They weren't like hitting a semi-automatic. It sounded like a hunting rifle. And so they were probably just zeroing in, but I had to stop and say, hey, heads up, there's people up here. And so sure enough, I get my gun and I go to walk down there, and these guys took off. And that's a moment where your protection. I did think about, should I fire off some rounds? But then I don't know if I want to get in a gunfight up here in the canyons of Utah. First thing in the morning. So I just made a verbal warning, and respectful men departed the area. How does that relate to this story here? Is that's a healthy way to be a protector. There's another way, is like if you're under a real threat, a real life or death threat. But there, I can tell you, going back to the subject, is that so many times in my life, I was overprotecting my inner child, right? I'm getting insulted by a lover, and then I start, rattling off all kinds of other insults and, eroding security and stability and emotional safety in the relationship, right? Maybe even acting out a little bit. And, that's where, a lot of times we want to gain self-control, because maybe we've done something like that, right? Where we've overreacted in a situation, and then we're like, I'm going to lose this person, or I'm going to lose this situation. Maybe it's even at work. A lot of times we can snap in the workplace because we're so stressed out. And we're like, oh shit, I'm going to lose my job. Right? And a lot of times in those situations, we try to just control ourselves. We say, you know what, in that situation, I need to control myself. Well, here's the thing. You can't control a trigger, just like that guy. It was that same situation. Like, there was a guy down there. I'm up here. This is a perfect analogy. Stick around. Hear me out on this, you guys. So, because this was a big breakthrough, the triggers, right? You can't control the triggers. So I'm sitting there enjoying my coffee, and another person, unbeknownst to me, being in a safe place, having camped the night, enjoying my first cup of coffee in the morning, he's down there and he pulls a trigger. And I'm like, whoa. Now I couldn't control that shot. And then I'm sitting there saying, okay, I didn't feel a fucking bullet whiz by my head. So I know that we're not his target, but I know we're in proximity, really close. This is a tight canyon. And then like 2 seconds later, pow, pow. 2 more rounds go off. The trigger's getting pulled. I couldn't control those triggers. But then after the third one, I maintained my cool, and I then yelled out for help. I yelled out to say, hey, heads up. There's people up here. And so I can tell you, I think the overreacting person in the past would have fired rounds back, because I'm armed too. Or at least I would have fired some rounds. And then you never know, they're like that, we're like that. Who's getting shot? Anybody gonna get shot? What's going on here? We're it gets escalated real fast. And that's a perfect analogy of triggers and control. Self-mastery gives you the ability to be centered, stay centered in your heart space, right here, man. Right here in the heart space, right here. Allowing your mind to really start processing what's happening in this situation. Is there danger? Absolutely. Is my life at risk? I don't know yet. Doesn't feel like it. I didn't get the heart pounding like, oh, fuck, these guys just aimed at me. They're shooting at me. No, they're not shooting at me. I wasn't the target. And so I stayed centered. And that's the difference. That's the self-mastery piece. Just trying to control myself is to say, like, fuck, yeah, I have to act a certain way that maybe is unnatural. And that's the thing. The self-control is trying to control something that really can't be controlled, especially when it's triggered. When you are triggered, it's an emotional trigger. And what that trigger then does is it plays out a subconscious program. Do we understand this stuff? As I just saw 1010 pop up. It plays out a subconscious program. So when you are triggered, you then roll out a program that has been etched inside of your heart, soul, mind, and your whole entire body for your life, that when this situation happens, this is how you have to react. And it's all out of fear. And when something gets triggered, you can't control it. You want to control it. You're hoping to control it. You're trying to control it with your mind, and it doesn't work that way. You have to go in and reprogram yourself. That's the breakthrough, is when you reprogram yourself. That's self-mastery. And the way that you reprogram yourself, you guys, is by healing the trauma, rewriting your stories, the things that have happened to you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it takes massive amounts of intention to do this. This is really one of the hardest things to do, is to reprogram yourself, to step into that void and to start saying, you know what, I'm not going to be identified and triggered the way that I have been anymore. And it really takes, one of the coolest things that you could do is to create some inner dialogue between your inner child and your adult, right? The child that's scared, you got to realize, man, that you got a little kid in there that's been through some shit, and he's still there. She's still there. And they've been through a lot of really scary stuff, right? Gunshots coming out, some scary shit, right? I'm a prior military, so it didn't freak me out, right? It didn't get out of hand. But for somebody, it could absolutely cause absolute terror and panic. And from that then gets triggered the adult that needs to save the day, needs to rescue that inner child. And so there has to be a dialogue. This is when I saw my breakthrough, is when I started to realize that the adult in me that was very immature and the child in me that was very scared because of life experiences, they had to come to a mutual agreement to say, okay, the child is really good at talking, connecting. You're probably hearing him right now. The adult is a provider, is a protector. It's a very strong and powerful force. But sometimes if I use my adult version in situations where it's like I've been insulted, I don't need to go and fight somebody, and I don't need to just go and return fire for just having someone insult me that doesn't even know what they're talking about. And that's self-mastery, is having situational awareness in all situations, no matter even if they pop up out of the blue, like getting gunshots fired at you, to where you can say, okay, wait, this is uncomfortable, but I'm not going to overreact, and I'm going to step in. That's the adult. The parent is the one that says, hey, super dad, right? Or super mom, hey, it's going to be okay. Let's communicate our way through this. Most of us can't communicate our way through shit. Most of us act our way through things, and acting is usually out of fear. It's usually a trauma response. And so, self-mastery or self-control, what do you desire? Comment down below. Do you want to just have more control over who you are, or do you want to master who you are? And in the mastery, you get to choose. You get to choose. That's the beautiful thing. There's your takeaway today, is when you choose self-mastery, we can go in there and not only be the author of your story, you could be the editor of your story. And when you edit your story, you don't just scribble it out and erase it. You can one-line things as you go through definitions of all different types of things in life, and you get to write empowering definitions that build you up, that truly honor your divine alignment and your inner truth. I appreciate all the new subscribers, everyone that's starting to hear my voice. I've been on this journey for a long time, you guys, and to finally be connecting with those that need to hear this message, right? There's a lot to be shared, and I'm going to continue sharing this. And I appreciate your support. I appreciate your viewership, and just know that I'm building out this community. Results kill excuses. And I am so honored and privileged to have you on board. So thank you for watching this video. Comment down below where you're from. Share your story. Let's connect. There's big things rolling out. If you haven't already, type in those 3 magic words, results kill excuses, into your app store. I have 25 free lessons, you guys. It's right now. 25 free lessons of self-discovery, right? For those that are truly ready to start doing that inner work, going on a journey that can be a little bit scary. It's actually a lot scary, man. Looking in the mirror, looking in the depths of your soul is a hell of a lot scarier than a lot of other circumstances in this life. And so I commend you. I send you love. I send you courage. I send you bravery. And I send you sobriety and clarity to be able to make the right decisions for you on this day. I love you. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.